All right. Well, thank you all for your patience the last few days. We have been just as frustrated as you, haven't been excluded completely from the negotiations. This, frankly, has been one of the most, one of the least transparent negotiations and processes that I've seen in my time here at the Capitol. And I will be very nice to say this is not a good product for Minnesotans. Having a 1.8% increase in the provider tax, I think is, obviously this was demanded by Democrats in the House DFL. This will raise the cost of health care for Minnesotans on every medical procedure across the state. I think this is a failure of this deal to not understand what the priorities should have been going into these negotiations. This was one tax that did not need to be increased. The health care provider the Healthcare Access Fund was not in the red until in the tails in the next biennium. Raising this tax was something that did not need to happen without a plan on how that money was going to be spent. Unfortunately, this means that all Minnesotans will pay more for health care over the next 2 years and into the future. Apparently, this agreement also does not have a sunset on the provider tax, so we're incredibly disappointed that that is the end result. We are glad that Democrats did back away from the gas tax and their other transportation taxes. I think Minnesotans will be happy about that, but unfortunately I think the celebration will end when they find out they're going to pay more for their health care. Questions?
What about the fact that there's a middle income tax cut? Does that help offset?
I think that's good. We haven't seen all of the details of this deal, kind of like you, so it's tough for us to react to everything, but the big pieces we have seen, and while I think the middle income tax cut is good, Senator Gazelka did say that tax bill had a zero target, so it means they're raising revenue elsewhere. So I'd like to see where they're raising revenue before I comment on whether or not I like the tax cut. In general, taxes are not going down on Minnesotans. A zero target on a tax bill now and in the tails means that they're spending any revenue that they're raising, they're offsetting in the bill. So ultimately, taxes on Minnesotans are not going down under this agreement.
Compromise. The Democrats and Republican leaders agreed to this in the House and the Senate. What is wrong with a compromise where you don't like some and you do like other parts of it?
Well, I think Minnesotans send us here to do what's right, not always what's easy. Sometimes compromise sounds good, but half of a bad deal is still a bad deal. And ultimately, I think everyone, Republican and Democrat alike, ran in the last election cycle on reducing healthcare costs, and unfortunately, that's not happening under this agreement.
Are there bonding votes in your time one day?
One at a time. You first.
Thank you. Are there bonding votes in your caucus?
Are there bonding votes? Apparently, this agreement does not include a bonding bill. We were not included in these negotiations, so I assume at some point they'll want to come to us and either reopen this agreement to talk about bonding or ask us to suspend rules. None of those things have happened yet.
How do they get $500 million they said was in a bonding package?
Maybe appropriation bonds, I'm not sure.
You're saying your caucus
right here first.
Do they expect your help getting this done in a one-day special session?
I don't think that's possible with a provider tax with no sunset. So my members are going to want to talk an awful lot about why that's bad for Minnesotans.
Hey, Mr. Leader,
But they also, just to couch that, they have not come to us and asked. They created this deal on their own without including us. I'll remind you that 2 years ago, Melissa Hortman, when she was the minority leader, was included in the negotiations. So they didn't include us at all, not even from the very beginning. So at some point, they'll have to come and ask us to suspend the rules, I would assume. That's their plan, since they said they wanted a one-day special session. But at this point, they have not done that. And unless they want to renegotiate some of the things in their bills, I don't know that that's going to be possible.
So, Mr. Leader, you're not saying whether your caucus will put up the votes for a $500 million bonding bill?
We don't know anything about a $500 million bonding bill. No one has talked to us at all about bonding. And here we are the day before the end of session. So I have no idea what they're talking about when they talk about bonding.
Is there anything you can do to stop any of this? If they need to suspend the rules for any reason, is there anything you can do to make any of this not happen?
If ultimately the House Democrats have the votes, if they want to raise health care costs on Minnesotans, they can do that. They're not going to do it with help from my caucus.
What that means is that you are not going to offer votes to suspend rules?
I have not been asked to offer votes to suspend the rules, but at this point, we're not planning to.
So without your assistance, it's 3 days, right? They would need to take...
Well, 3 days before you get the bills into conference, if they're going to work on them and get the language finalized before they introduce them, at the very soonest it's 3 days. But that means passing every bill on the third day, and I don't think that's probably possible in the House based on the pace that we've set so far this session.
So if you don't vote to suspend the rules, it'll be a 3-day special session at least.
At the very minimum, yeah. And that means passing the entire state budget, all 9 or 10 of these bills, in 1 day. And I don't think that that's probably possible. So I would guess probably 5 days at the minimum would be as quick as we could get out of here. But we'll see if they're interested in engaging us in some conversation. But at this point, I don't think they planned that they needed our votes to suspend the rules. Maybe that was an oversight. I'm not sure.
Do you think this kind of process where it's basically the 3 leaders, some staff involved in the negotiations is going to become the new normal, and would you resist that?
You know, I think they could have done better. I applaud them for trying, but I think they could have done better. You know, I've been through this process a few times, and this is the least transparent process I've seen yet. For me to have to stand in the back of the room and find out what the details of the deal are when they're planning to have a 1-day special session and talking about a bonding bill lets me know that they didn't really think ahead on who they should include in their negotiations.
And the same was true for Senator Bach as well, right?
I would assume. He'll probably want to talk to you too. Other questions? All right, thank you all. Sorry that they put you through this process.
Hey guys, Steve Drazkowski from the New House Republican Caucus. Just remind people that schemes endeavored on Saturday night and promises made on Sunday night might look different on Monday morning. So I think we need to really take a look at the details of what's in this proposal before making full judgment on it. But you know, Minnesotans, as they went through this last election, the Democrats took the election saying that they were going to reform health care in Minnesota and bring forward lower health care costs. All we did is added more costs on them with this proposal, 1.8% new provider tax on Minnesotans that was not in law before, taxes on insulin and opioids. All we do is have more costs added to health care costs on Minnesotans and not solutions. So I think we need to be really disappointed about that. I applaud Senator Gazelka in his efforts to get rid of the notion of a gas tax. I think that the outcome of the tax conformity proposal is much better than existed in the House, and it mirrors what the compromise that came forward last year. As far as I can understand, it's a no net gain on both the business and the individual side. Fairness, fairness, fairness in the tax proposal as far as I can tell. But again, schemes endeavored on Saturday night and promises made on Sunday night could look different on Monday morning.
If they come to a special session agreement where they decide there are going to be no amendments, will you and your caucus respect that?
Again, we will take a look at the details. I think there's a lot of that discussion to come out. I haven't had a chance, and my caucus members haven't had a chance to talk to the speaker about it, but we look forward to that discussion.
So it's possible you might say, that's not our problem.
Well, I mean, I don't think people in our caucus will probably be voting, for instance, for a bonding bill. We're probably not going to be voting for more borrowing and spending when we've got about $1.2 billion of debt service costs to the state of Minnesota, the people of the state of Minnesota here happening each and every biennium. We are tripping across the people's money here in the state capitol right now. I just saw somebody trip over here over about $100,000 of the people's money that's piled up here. And the proposal that I heard is going to steal more money from the people of Minnesota. We don't need any more of their money. So that is very disappointing. That is not what the voters of Minnesota voted for last election. And so those parts of the proposal, as far as I can see and understand them, very disappointing. Thank you.